Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin.
Shalom, we out here, little 5 points with the brother Knock, me and Haran, the brother Knock. People out here walking up and down the street, living their best life, man. You know what I'm saying? Brothers out here selling and buying and doing their thing, you know. But we out here, man. We was out here talking, man, and Knock was bringing out some good information. Man. What you talking about, Knock?
Yeah. So the one thing about learning your history is that you often find things that you had never seen or never knew existed. The oppressor made it a point to keep us from learning who we are. So, but with that, because they are evilly proud people, they also wrote about the things they did and documented it and kept it hidden away from us. So I wanted to bring out a little bit of history of our people when we were ruling during the time of the, well, I should say, after the time we were ruling with the Moors in the Iberian Peninsula. For those who don't know what the Iberian Peninsula is, that is the area where you would find the country of Spain and Portugal, right? And during around, for about almost 900 years, the Moors ruled Europe, and that was part of the area that they ruled. But soon after, Esau came back, getting close to the Renaissance period, they came and took over. We had the Spanish Inquisition that we heard about in our history, in our history books in school. What we didn't know is that the Spanish Inquisition was mainly to fight against our people. And so there's a certain event that happened back in 1506 that I kind of want to bring out. I'm going to read just a little bit of what it was, right? So this is called the Lisbon Massacre. So it says the Lisbon Massacre started on Sunday, April 19th, 1506 in Lisbon, when a crowd of churchgoers attacked and killed several persons in the congregation whom they suspected were Jews, right? The violence escalated into a citywide anti-Semitic riot that killed as many as 4,000, quote, new Christians, unquote. Now, in parentheses, these new Christians on Wikipedia is described as being Jews that have been forcibly converted to Christianity. Now that's important to note and understand. So today, the so-called Jewish man pretty much knows about this history. As a matter of fact, there's a memorial of this actual event that is memorialized outside the cathedral, still in Lisbon. They have a what they call the Star of David, and they have the event of what happened, how many people were killed, and they'll say this is a part of their history, of their people, of their strife. But I got some other sources that say otherwise. I'm going to go to a book that was published in 1848. The book is called The History of the Jews of Spain and Portugal. And I don't know if you probably can't see this, but I have it on my on a PDF. I have it on my Kindle. And this was written by a man by the name of E.H. Wendell. And I'm going to flip over to a passage. I'm not going to read all of it, just give a few points. But this is regarding to the Lisbon Massacre, right? This is what it says. This is chapter 30 of the book. It says, New Christians, massacres at Lisbon, John III of Portugal, who was king of Portugal at that time, Inquisition established in Portugal, and this is what it reads. It says, those of Spain were not murdered by the populace, but thousands were emulated, take these off here, thousands were emulated by the infernal tribunal of the Inquisition, which, not to stain its hands with blood, condemned its victims to the flames. It says in Portugal that merciless tribunal had not been established when upwards of 2,000 of the forced converts were murdered and plundered by the mob at Lisbon on Easter Sunday. Easter! Isn't that interesting? Easter
That's
Sunday, the 19th of April, 1506. And it reads, in the monastery, I got it small, of Saint Domingo, there was a celebrated chapel called Jesus' Chapel. On the altar was a crucifix having a bit of red glass to represent the wound in the side. So the monks, to delude the ignorant populace, so the monks were trying to create something that wasn't really going on, right? An illusion. The monks, to delude the ignorant populace, caused a candle to cast its light through the glass, which they proclaimed to be a miracle. So they were doing something false. They created something to make the people believe that Jesus had a miracle going on Easter Sunday. Now check this out. It says, a new Christian. Remember that term, new Christian. It said earlier, someone who was a Jew who was forced to convert to Christianity. It says a new Christian who perceived the imposture, meaning that he realized that it was a lie, and saw that the reflection of the light proceeded from the situation of the candle, incautiously made the remark, whereupon they dragged him, these monks, by the hair from the church, killed him, dragged him and killed him and burnt his corpse. And these monks offered 100 days of indulgence to every Christian who should kill a Jew or anyone who converted to Judaism. They soon collected a mob, which was increased by a number of Dutch and Danish sailors who landed from their vessels, then laying in the Tagus. They slew and mangled their victims. Talking about these Jews, right? They slew and mangled their victims, casting many while yet living into the fire the Negroes and vilest rabble. I don't know if you guys caught that. It says they slew and mangled their victims, casting many while yet living into the fires the Negroes. And vilest rabble had kindled at the church doors, to which they kept constantly adding fuel. On the Monday, the numbers of the mob were considerably augmented from the neighboring villages. The massacre and butchery of the new Christians, now we know who these new Christians are referring to, the Negroes, also referring to the Jews, were continued. Their houses were broken up, whole families were murdered, their merciless wretches dashed out of the brains of infants against the walls. We've heard that before. Pregnant women were thrown from the window on the pikes of those below. Women were violated and virgins ravished. Such were the horrors committed in the capital of Portugal on that day.
That's crazy.
So I know that was a little bit lengthy, but I wanted to show and get you to understand that there's a lot of history that we as a people, we have a golden, warranted history, mostly of pain and suffering. But these are things that we need to look upon. The scriptures tell us to study, to read, to show ourselves approved, to also search out our fathers. So this is due diligence on our part to check out the history, to learn about our culture and our heritage and the things that happened in the past, right? So I just wanted to bring that little bit out. That was in the year 1506. It's called the Lisbon Massacre, which happened in Lisbon, Portugal, where over 4,000 so-called Negroes, actual Jews, were killed by fire because they didn't want to convert to Christianity, pretty much. And this is during the time of the Spanish Inquisition. All this, so just want to bring that out.
What's your name again?
Jerry.
Yes, sir. All right. Jerry knows about the Israelites.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And he just, what you down here doing?
I'm out here to support the movement documentary, 29 Laws and 3 Levels of Traffic.
Oh man, why you talking low like that, man? You a man, brother.
I'm documentary, 29 Laws and 3 Levels of Traffic. Trying to shine light on the falsehood that the brothers are pretty much up under. That spell with the falsehood in it. Let them know its consequences for it, along with the glamour. It's not to glorify. It's to let them know the true possibilities of what can happen if they choose to indulge. Let them know it's an exit point to it.
In what? You ain't never said it. In what?
In trapping.
And trapping.
Yes, sir.
That's drug dealing.
Yes, sir.
That's selling out our women, whoring out our women, pimping, all of that stuff, right?
Came over,
Robbing, doing jukes.
All that.
Okay, yeah.
How they brought it over here in order to mess us off, keep us divided and conquer.
Yes, now we were just talking about conspiracies too, man. Right. What's it called again?
The 29 Laws and 3 Levels of Trapping.
The 29 Laws and 3 levels of trapping. 29 laws and 3 levels of trapping.
Okay.
So you like get what you gotta get and get out.
If you got the heart to do it. If you got the heart to do it, these are laws and rules and regulations from level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 3 is a whole, each one of them carry a different amount of time. It's different rules and regulations, different laws apply. It's different. I'm not telling a person to do it. If you got the heart to do it, here's some wisdom from people that been in it and got out of it. You got some people that died, we can't talk to them.
Hey, that's
Yes, sir.
facts. That's facts, man.
Yeah.
Yo, I respect that, man. I respect even more. What you got? I respect even more this, obviously, and you
Go
know,
ahead.
because we fall underneath these curses of the Most High God to kind of force us to go into these type of things.
Yes, sir.
Because you talking about what 19 laws? What you say, how many laws?
29 laws.
29 laws.
And 3 levels.
Yo, we got over 613 laws, and the maximum level in this book. You know what I'm saying? And we can't follow 10. We can't even follow 10. You know what I'm saying? What did our music say, man? I'm gonna take your girl. Well, God said don't steal another man's wife.
Correct.
God say don't covet what another man has.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But we can't follow that. Our music say, God say don't kill or don't murder. But our music say, yo, murder, murder, kill, kill. You know what I'm saying? You was talking about idols or other gods or deities. We were speaking about that earlier. God says only one God.
That's right. Don't have any other gods before me.
But we can't deal with that. We gotta have multiple gods and deities, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta run into that.
And on his point, you know, on the point, the 29 laws and the 3 levels, right?
Yes, sir.
You got laws that you say that the dope man needs to abide by, right? And get to a certain level. Once he attained that, now it's time to jump out and do and take care of this. Is that kind of where you're coming from with this?
Well, this is the forewarning through a set of laws, titlements, of experience from other people.
Okay.
People that are succumbed, people that are dead, people that are currently trapping, people that are incarcerated, people that have retired.
So it's getting
It's stories from them.
stories from them to help the next guy who gets into traffic.
Forewarn them.
Perform. Is that to keep them from doing it, or is that while they're in the midst of it, how to survive? And-
Both.
Okay.
It's a warning, and if you decide, because the brother keeps saying, if you got the heart for this,
Right.
or the desire for this,
Right.
or you feel like you got no other option, and this is the route you choose to take.
Be aware of the consequences that come with it.
Hey, listen, we could apply that same thing with the scriptures.
Right,
Yes,
but
sir.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
If to me it would seem like if all those who are involved in that game are giving advice, when shouldn't the advice be to just leave this alone? Period.
Correct.
So, but yet they're gathering all this information from experience for those if they're willing to do it to say, well, I can tell you, but I can't. You know, I can lead you to the well, but I can't make you drink, type of thing, right? The Bible doesn't work that way. And what I mean by that is that we're given over 613 laws, right? That we were supposed to abide by and follow. And we had stipulations. We had a situation where if we kept these laws, it was for our good. It was for us to live. It was for us to prosper. It was for us to be the best in the world. That's a level that's so below where we're supposed to be. I agree. Right? I agree. And furthermore, when we don't follow these laws, God said that we will be put under a curse, right? And I want to read something to you because what you're doing, whether you may not believe it or not, and I know you might mean it well to help our people in this way, to give them some type of option or avenue to survive, but that's a curse. Trap house, trapping, that's a curse that was brought upon us, right? Let me read this for you. This is one of the curses. This is in Deuteronomy chapter 28. I'm going to start with verse 20. It says, the Lord, the Most High God, shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, right? And rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings whereby thou hast forsaken me. You see what's going on here? Because we choose to do something that is totally against what God told us to do. It's wicked, right? We chose instead of following his commandments, he said, if you don't want to follow, this is one of the curses I'm going to put on you. I'm going to cause y'all to be in a trap house. And I'm going to cause people to come in and say, you know what? Instead of coming back to my laws, there's going to be some of y'all people saying, hey, there's options to survive this. That's a lie. It says it's going to fail. It says, in all that thou settest thine hand unto to do.
Question. Again, I'm on your side. However, we can't dictate what the next person is going to do. I'm only trying to forewarn them of both sides. So how am I wicked? I'm not saying you calling me wicked, but you use a verse, a phrase that will come at me like I'm doing a devious thing. I'm doing it.
Well, let me ask you this.
I'm not trying to deceive. I'm forewarning. I'm educating.
Right. But you're not saying don't do it. You're saying, right? You're not. You're giving them options to say, well, I'm going to give them information. I'm going to give them what these other dope men did, and try to maybe they'll instead of selling at night, they sell on certain days. Instead of just saying don't do it at all. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to show you is
it's been in the country over 40 years, and they're going to do what they're going to do.
That's the trap. That's
they
the
gonna
trap.
do. I agree.
The trap is that we are not keeping the laws that were given to our forefathers.
If we can stop it in one day, I'm totally with it.
Well, you know, it's not about it's about one day at a time. It's about one step at a time. It's about reading the Bible and finding out who we are. Let me ask you this.
I studied the Bible, sir.
You studied the Bible?
Yes, sir.
Do you know about the curses?
It's a lot of curses.
Now, I read you one.
Yes.
But do you know why the children of Israel had curses put on them? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. You say you know about the Bible, right?
Yes.
What do you know about the children of Israel?
The children of Israel, going back to the time of Moses, before or after slavery?
Well, before.
Before slavery. They were...
And after. So we'll start with before.
Okay. They were a people amongst their people doing what they do. After they went through a trial and tribulation, came out, and vowed never to make that same mistake again.
Okay.
Yes.
And did they make that mistake? Did they make a mistake?
As a whole, some of them are in controlling positions.
Well, all right, so you're saying that they went through certain calamities and they got through that. Now, that was before, right? They went through slavery. Moses came, right? Came to Pharaoh, said, let my people go. They came out of Egypt, right? They went into the wilderness. And in the wilderness, there was something that Moses did. Right? What was it? What do you know about the story of Moses? What did Moses do, Corey? Okay, so we're going to go to there, right?
No, you just tell me. You ain't got to read the
No. Well, the way we
save time.
I get it. What do you know?
Yeah.
But then
I don't insult another.
Nah, we're not trying to insult each
I don't
other.
debate.
No, this not at all. So
Okay, go ahead.
But I don't want to give my words, right? I'm a man just like you. I'm going to read the text of what it says.
Okay.
This was written thousands of years ago. All right?
This is what I'm getting at. What was the dialect of the Hebrew people?
What do you mean by dialect? What was the language?
It's only one language. Once you break a language up, it becomes dialects.
Okay, we know that language changes over time.
The dialect that it was actually revealed in. The book of Deuteronomy, that's what you're reading from?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the first 5 books was written in what language?
The first 5 books originally was written in Paleo.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was transliterated or translated to English, correct?
Yes.
It's a lot of deception in the English translation.
There is.
That's why I just asked you to
That's why we studied the Hebrew. We studied the
That's why I
Greek.
asked you to tell me straight up.
But
We studied the Hebrew, we studied the Greek, but still, explaining it
most part.
real quick, right? The scriptures tell us Nehemiah 8, 9, and 8. Yeah, get that real quick.
No, go.
Not because there's a reason why. It's a reason why
Okay, 'cause
I'm saying this, right?
bounce.
I know you do. Hey, you here, man? You ain't going nowhere, man.
It's the book
You
of
right.
Nehemiah, chapter 8 and verse 8.
But you put me in it when
That's
it
all
ain't
right.
on my
That's all
style.
right.
You
Yeah,
got me.
hey, we brothers.
right.
I actually understand what you're doing.
Right.
Say that.
I understand
The
what
book
you're
of
doing.
Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 8, it says,
But it's for the audience to overstand.
so they read in the book, in the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense.
So we understand that some of these words you might not get the same understanding because it was originally written in Hebrew. It was really originally written in Latin. Some of it was originally written in Greek. You know what I'm saying, during the New Testament times. But what the scripture is saying is that you have brothers who are learned brothers who be able to give the understanding of what the scripture is really talking about.
Well, question: do you support falsehood?
Do we support what?
Falsehood, yes.
Of course not.
Okay, this is what I mean. In certain parts of Hebrew, some words have been intentionally mistranslated in English. For instance, when you go to the beginning in the book of Genesis, for the word "we," what is the word in Hebrew?
For the word "we,"
When they use it substituted in the Bible in English language. When they say, and God said, let us make man in his image after his likeness.
It's not we. We talking about our, and that God is the word that you're speaking
In
of.
Hebrew.
I'm telling you, the word you're speaking of is God. It's not we, or it's not our. The word you're speaking of is God, which means Elohim or
And
Elohim.
what does Elohim
It means
mean in
multiple.
those?
It's plural. It means multiple.
It's a plural.
Yes.
And therefore I'm going in the English transliteration.
But we understand it.
Understand that.
And now we got to do it to the YouTube audience.
Oh, we do.
So they got to understand it. This is what I mean about the deception when you're reading from the King James Version.
It's not a deception.
What is it?
It's not a deception.
It's a false information.
It's how you. It's what you have to do to transliterate from one language to another. English is a bastard language with a bunch of bashed up words. It's hard to. It was illegal for a long time until I think the Tinsdale Bible or something around that
Make sure the
time.
audience know that.
It was illegal for a long time for them to transfer it over.
Another way is because you're going with the language, you're going with the
dialect.
the dialect, the translation. Let's think of it this way. There's other ways in the scriptures that kind of identify and tell a story, right? What is that through? It's through prophecy. Do you believe in prophecy? You understand? How do you understand prophecy?
Again, my standing is when you just say certain words, my radar.
No, I'm asking you. Do you understand? Do you know what prophecy is?
Yes, but you asked me, do I believe? So that killed everything.
Well, do you believe in prophecy?
I don't use the word believe, so that's why I don't want to go in there.
Do you understand what prophecy is?
Do you overstand?
There you now you're talking about that.
Well, I'm asking you.
No, you're not asking me correct.
I'm asking you
but
correct.
yeah,
So
never-
give me an example of prophecy.
No, but you I know.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
No, I didn't say.
No. You asked me to give you an example. I told you.
I don't know who Noble Drew Ali is. Let's just say I don't know who that. Who the hell is that? That's prophecy. Noble Drew Ali.
Prophet. That's a prophet.
Give me an example of his.
The Morris Science Temple of America.
Okay.
What's the prophecy?
Right. Yeah. I don't. When you say that,
did
that's
what he did. He resurrect the so-called Negro in those times.
Where's the prophecy? Where would it come from? The prophecy come from?
You have to go up into the doctrine, and I'm not going to.
You have to go into the hadith.
No.
Where you have to go
You
into?
have to go into their studies.
Aesthetics.
But their prophecies, some of their prophecies, he was to resurrect the Negro of those times and fast forward him to an erect being,
okay.
which he's done.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this.
Go ahead, but
do you believe
I don't believe
that our people, do you understand that our people were brought over here on cargo ships, our ancestors? Well, how do you feel about that? Do you have any understanding or overstanding of
Yes, I do.
Can you elaborate on that, or
That was prophecy.
That was prophecy.
Correct.
Where can we find that prophecy?
We can show it to you.
You have to read the cuneiform scripts.
We can show it to you right now.
Sumerian doctrine.
We can show it to you right now. You don't need to read all of that. We can show it to you right now.
We can show it to you.
We can show it to you right now.
Come on, let's tell me this.
All right.
This is in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 68. And it reads, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again."
What's Egypt?
He's asking me a question.
What's Egypt?
When? Present, past.
In this scripture.
In this scripture right here, in this prophecy, the Lord will bring you into Egypt
The
again.
Lord will bring thee into Egypt again.
What's Egypt? Egypt is
Egypt
a.
is
So we talking about words, right?
country.
See, we talking about words, right? Egypt.
Come
You
here.
talking about no. Egypt. You talking about words? We talking about words, right?
Yes, sir.
Egypt is a Greek word. The word really of the land, Kemet or Mizraim, it would have been Mizraim. But the word Egypt, it really means to bondage. Read this.
John, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. "I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage."
Egypt in Greek means bondage.
We didn't call it Egypt.
Yeah,
we
it-
called it Mitzrayim. The Most High in this passage is saying that he's going to, I'll read it again, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt," or bondage, again, but this time with ships. "By the way whereof I spake unto thee,
Hold on.
thou shalt see it no more again." All right? So, we know and you understand that our ancestors were brought over on ships. We spoke about that earlier. You agreed, right?
I agree.
Okay, now.
Is there any other people really who went massively into bondage on ships?
in droves?
Not to my knowledge.
Right. So this is the prophecy. This is the last prophecy of the curse given in Deuteronomy. Let me continue. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Right? We won't see that land of Egypt. We won't see our homeland again, right? The slaves that came over here, they call us African American, right? Or Afro American, or colored, or Negro. Have we gone back to where our ancestors came from, or are we just still here? As a whole, as a nation of people, we're still here. Okay, all right. And it says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Slave man.
Men, slave woman. And no man shall buy you. Now, here goes one of the words again, right? We're talking about. The word here says buy you. But this is, we know when we look it up, this is an old Quaker term, meaning redeem. That goes with the context of the scripture, right? So it says, and no man shall redeem you or buy you out of the condition or the bondage that you're in. All right? So what is it saying? This is saying that the children of Israel in the future were going to go through calamity after calamity. They were going to go through turmoil, torture, because of disobedience to the Most High God, that He was even going to scatter them and kick them out the land and have them taken over by another nation of people and become slaves, be sold into slavery, and would stay in that land until the time of His Son to return. Now, that's a prophecy that happened. You said it yourself. I just read it to you.
I agree with you.
I just read it to you.
Hey, you got to agree. That was a prophecy.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, okay. All right. All praises. All praises.
AHOS.